Hello and welcome back to the ACSC podcast. Thank you so much for the support. I just want to say a big shout out to people on our Instagram. We've just hit 200 followers, which is huge progress for us, and it's great to see a lot of people interacting with us, and that's what we want a lot more to come in the future. So obviously this is episode 6. It's flying by how quick we're getting there. And I think I'm just going to pass over to my co-host Adil. He has a few things to say as well.
Yep, hello again, guys. Yeah, so episode 6 now. So obviously the last two we recorded was away from football. I think today's topic and potentially the next episode's topic will be back focusing on what we love most, which is football. And yeah, again, quick thank you from me as well. I mean, obviously Charles just mentioned as well, Insta followers. I know 200 to some might not be a lot, but for us, it's really good, steady progress. And, we're overwhelmed with the support. We've had comments and feedbacks as well from everyone to say, how good we're doing and what we can improve on, and all that is much appreciated, and all of that you'd hopefully see implemented in our future episodes. I believe today we've obviously got the like I say, it's all going to be about football, and I'll just let Charles start off on the first topic we've got today.
Yeah, just to quickly touch on a little bit before I get into it is just to say yesterday, this is filming Wednesday. On Tuesday, we done an Instagram live, and it's going to be a new weekly
Yes.
feature we're going to do. It's a bit more informal, just get to see really, you can actually get to see what we're like in person, our general chats we have, and you get to see us, the voices behind the podcast a bit more. So if you guys join us over there, that's where you'll get to see a bit more informal side of us. But yeah, on to today's topic. The first one we got is obviously Messi and Ronaldo, the biggest topic you can discuss in world football now. I think it's been there for
Yeah.
years. And are they under decline as such?
Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, sorry, Charles, I'll just quickly go back on that as well. Yeah, so that was like you were saying, the Insta Live thing, which is going to be, like you said, weekly. Yesterday we've done a bit about, obviously at the moment, we've got Bundesliga. That's kind of what we focusing on, Charles, isn't it, at the moment? Um,
Yeah.
and then we'll have different plans going for the future, but we'll try and do that on a weekly basis. We're not quite set on a day. We'll try and do it on predominantly a Monday, but it could be a Tuesday or even a Wednesday that we do it. So on that, like Charles said, just keep out on that, and we'll be a bit more informal. But yeah, Messi, Ronaldo, like you said, the very big two in world football potentially ever. Are they on the decline? It is a question where many are asking now. Cristiano Ronaldo, who's now 35, and Lionel Messi is 32. And the question, well, and 33 turning next month, actually.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah.
are in the latter stages of their career now. But interesting to say the least. Would you say their performances and how they're performing right now, are they playing like a players that are on the decline, or what would you say?
Personally, I would say I think the
Mm,
big problem is the fact that we're
yeah,
so used to seeing these two
yeah,
doing unbelievable things with football. Like, I've just got some stats like the best seasons compared to both of them. So I think
yeah,
everyone knows Messi's best season when he broke Gerd Muller's record. That season alone
mhm,
in 2011 and 12, 60 appearances, 73 goals and 29 assists. Them stats are just phenomenal records. And obviously, Ronaldo was very close with in 2014 season, 54
mhm,
appearances, 61 goals, and 21 assists. I think the problem them two have created for themselves is they're producing figures like that people seem to think they have to hit them every season. This season alone, Messi scored 24 goals and 16 assists in 31 games. If that was
yeah,
a player like Salah, etc., you'll be saying player of the year. Yet
yeah, yeah,
everyone's now saying Messi, well, he's on a decline. I don't think they
yeah.
are. I think that's half the problem.
I think, like you said there as well, touched on as well, when Messi hit those ridiculous numbers back in, was it 2012? You said he hit them.
2011, 2012 season, that was
And
his
yeah, yeah,
phenomenal year.
exactly. And obviously, that's when you look at it, you think about it, that's probably Messi in his peak or just coming into his peak. And again, with Ronaldo, the year in the 14, where he probably hit his peak as well. Now, interesting to say as well, you're right. They've performed at such a level every season. It's almost expected of them to do it all every year. And fair, rightly so to both of them. They do perform like that almost every year. Like you said, this year, I mean, Lionel Messi has got 40 goals and assists in
Yeah,
31 appearances so far this
it's
season. Yeah, and Cristiano Ronaldo's got 29 goals and appearances in 32 games this season. Now,
yeah,
just touch on it quickly as well. Last season, Cristiano Ronaldo in 43 games, he had 38 goals and assists,
yeah, yeah,
and Lionel Messi in 50 games had 73 goals and assists. And more importantly, he had 51 goals last year. So there isn't, if you look at that's just gone, the season just gone. Now that's when Ronaldo's 34 and Messi's obviously 31. And then this year, obviously, like I said, the numbers that It's almost like every game they've played, they've almost hit the same goals and
They
assists.
always are there
Yeah,
performing.
that's
It's
what I'm saying. So I don't see them. I don't see like obviously they are fatiguing earlier in the games. I mean, Lionel Messi in the last 20 minutes, you can see he's fatigued a little
I
bit.
think the
Cristiano
biggest
Ronaldo,
big thing as well with
yeah,
Messi is you see a lot of
mm,
games he gets rested for some of them games that are not as
hmm
important now. And I
yeah,
think that shows the fatigue side of things. I think is there, but that's expected. They're getting on. They're not these young 20 in their prime as
no,
such
they're not.
anymore. But you cannot take away the fact the impact them two can have on a game. If you watch a game, either Barcelona or Juventus now, you
Mhm.
always expect still out of anywhere in a minute a game that one of them can produce a piece of magic because you know they can.
Yeah, exactly. Again, completely agree with that. I think the thing is on that as well is if you look at Lionel Messi, I think it's interesting to say, and probably right in saying that he's playing a bit more deeper than he always has done.
Yeah, he's more of
So,
a
yeah,
centre forward
well,
cam type
yeah,
role now.
he's almost like a number 10, bit of a box,
Yeah,
not a box to box, but bit of a like a he's almost like the creating the play now, which he's done for a few seasons now.
I think he's
But
dropped back deeper to get more of the ball because he's better with the ball at
exactly.
his feet.
Yeah. Obviously, of course, and we know that he's always been like that. So we can see that Cristiano Ronaldo, who's got more of a striker now and more as a like a number 9 rather than play on the wings, and obviously he's still having a massive impact playing
Yeah,
there. So they are adapting their situations. But like you said, any other player in the world, either it's Salah or Neymar or anyone who's you say is third and fourth and fifth best players in the world, or Mbappe, who we'll probably touch on in a little later as well. If they had these numbers, you would sit there and go, yeah, you're right, shoe in for player of the year, and there should be what a year they're having. So Messi and Ronaldo have set the benchmark. It is right in saying they have had their best years past them. And I think there's a lot of, Cristiano Ronaldo, that's Lionel Messi, and, those debates you get, and you've had them for years now. What we must do as football fans is appreciate them whilst they're still around. Because let's be honest, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi in 2, 3 years' time
yeah.
might not even be around, let alone, coming down to the last years of their football career. They'll probably be potentially retiring. So rather than comparing the two and having the rivalry, it might be nice now to fully appreciate them whilst we've still got them, who I think are two of the best players ever and maybe in the top two best players ever.
I think, like you say now, I think more than I've had the honour of seeing both of them play live, and that is
Yeah.
something I would always appreciate. And I think that's the thing is seeing the best players. Arguably not saying that ever. I think growing up, I was always more of a Messi fan. That's just personal opinion.
Yeah.
Watching the way he
Likewise.
plays,
Likewise. Yeah.
you can have that debate, but I've always appreciated what Ronaldo can do. I think personally, my personal opinion, if you're going by athletic standards, Ronaldo is better. He's probably the best
hmm
athlete
I agree.
if
Yeah.
football's ever seen. Whereas if you're talking pure football ability, I don't think anyone can come close to what Messi's done. Arguably Maradona, them type Pele, but when you watch the way Messi has that ball at his feet, no one can replicate what he does. The way he
Yeah.
glides
It's
past
yeah.
five, six players effortlessly. And just a thing I saw here, obviously, this is total stats compared to when they were both playing in Spain. Over their period, they scored 922 goals between them.
That is absolutely phenomenal.
It's
That is, I mean, if you look at the stats, that's like, I mean, it's breathless, isn't it? It really is.
And I think that's the thing is I don't think people appreciate how lucky as a
No,
generation we are as football fans that we've seen arguably the two best players play at the same time and push each other to these standards.
exactly that. And I think you're spot on in saying that. I mean, I've as well, like yourself. I think even back in the school days, we used to appreciate, we used to talk about Messi a lot more. And I know, Charles, you are a fanatic for Messi. I think I was more of a, obviously, I appreciate Messi, and I always thought he was a slightly better of the two. But obviously, when we're back in the school days, you're younger. Obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan, and Cristiano Ronaldo plays for Manchester United. So it's
Yeah,
almost like me, like, so from my point of view, it was like, oh, well, I don't think Ronaldo was that good and all that. But now, over the years, obviously, as I've matured and gotten older and appreciated football, Cristiano Ronaldo is a player that I have so much admiration for. I mean, I saw a stat, I think it was last season or the year before, where he managed to generate, when he leaped, he can leap as high as an NBA player,
yeah, it's.
which is
I'm saying the athleticism wise of him that he's
ridiculous.
phenomenal, and the amount of training you see. Like I don't know if you've
Mm.
seen the Ronaldo documentary on
Uh,
Netflix.
yeah, yeah, I have, yeah.
His he lives and breathes football. There's not. I
That's what I'm
think
saying, yeah. I mean, yeah,
And I think them two, I think Messi's the exact same. You don't reach the standards them two have got without dedicating your whole life to football.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think, like you said, they've all, what it is you always notice about world class generational talents, not just in football, in any sport. You know, you've got the Michael Jordans and Tiger Woods in different sports,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
you know, and obviously Messi and Ronaldo. It's like they find an extra gear where, you know, right now in world football, Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Kevin De Bruyne, they're world class, and you can't argue that.
No,
But what Messi and Ronaldo have is they've got another bracket which is above world class, and it's just them two sitting it. And I feel like the players I just mentioned, then they'll never be able to go into that bracket. The only person that, I mean, we'll get on to, might potentially, in my opinion, is maybe Kylian Mbappe. But like I say, they're certainly not Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. And I don't see, personally, in the next 15, 20 years, and I could be completely wrong, and I'd love to be wrong, I don't see a player, I can't see the next Messi. And if there is, I haven't seen him yet.
but this is a big argument which I don't like within football, and the stereotype is
Mm.
why does a player have to be the next Messi, the next Ronaldo, the next Maradona, the next Özil?
Yeah,
Let that player be him. Don't stereotype them instantly within this bracket. I get they can live up to it.
yeah,
Like
you're
with
right.
Mbappe, I think, like you're saying there, I agree with what you're saying, where Ronaldo and Messi are on this pedestal that is above everyone. But I think,
Hmm.
why can't Mbappe have his own pedestal? Like, to me,
Mm.
looking away,
Yeah,
we'll talk more, but we can link this in now, is obviously, we've got three players we think that could become generational talents. And I think the word generational is a word that gets overused with so many players coming up who
oh, ridiculously.
has
Yeah,
5 good games, oh, they're the next best thing. I think there's three players we've pinpointed together that I think could become general rotation. And we'll start with Mbappe. I think
yeah.
Mbappe, at his age, there's no player has ever done what he's done. Not even Messi and
No.
Ronaldo were that good, I think, at his age.
Hmm. I agree with you. I think if you look at that as well, I'll go back to what you just said earlier. You said, why do you need to find the next Messi? To come to think of it, actually, you made a very good point there because you're right. Because straight away, if we say, where's the next Messi? Where's the next Ronaldo? If you pinpoint Mbappe and say, all right, you've got to be the next Ronaldo, you're putting pressure on a
Yeah,
21-year-old right now who's like, okay, oh God, I've got to now become Cristiano Ronaldo. And he's, it puts that extra added pressure, which is not needed. Let the player develop himself.
let
Let the
him
player
be him.
become. Yeah,
Let
let
him
him
be.
be Kylian
Like,
Mbappe of France rather than, Cristiano Ronaldo.
it's I don't get this whole need to become the next person. The
Yeah,
amount of players, and I think this is an idea. We've got a podcast coming up soon. Is the amount of players that have been hyped up to become the next person, and they've
and then
never
fall
lived up
off.
to that potential. Like one day,
Exactly.
Boyan, who was at
Boyan
Barcelona,
Kirkic, yeah,
was
that's
literally
it.
linked to become the next Messi, and he
And
never
then
lived
what
up to that.
happened?
And look at him, he went to Stoke and was in like. Don't build a player because it can ruin their careers.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think just what you just touched on Mbappe again as well. I think even at the moment he's obviously got 117 appearances in the French league. Obviously this is Monaco and now PSG, and he's got 115 goals and assists. He's a World Cup winner at 21, and I definitely see him win. I'll just run through a couple of stats actually, Charles.
Yeah, go for it. I've got some
So
as well.
yes, in 2017, he's the winner of the Golden Boy Award. In 2018, he's the winner of the Copper Trophy Award. In 2018 again, he's the winner of the FIFA World Cup Best Young Player. In 2018, and this is the interesting one, 2018 France won the World Cup. He won French Player of the Year. Now that France team, when they won the World Cup, let's be honest, I'll be honest, in the last, well, since I've been around, I've not seen a World Cup squad, maybe apart from that Spain side in 2010, that had so many unbelievable players in that starting 11. And for a 20, or how old was he in 2018? He would have been, what, 18 or 19? I think he would have
18,
been
19,
19, I think.
yeah. Probably about
Yeah.
19,
And
18,
he
yeah.
won, there you go. And he won the French Player of the Year award. Not young, the French Player of the Year. Now, obviously, he's the winner of the Young Player of the Year in League One for the last 3 years. And I think he's going to
Yeah.
win the Player of the Year this year. So,
Did he not
the
win it last
awards
year
are
as
there.
well? The player of the year.
Yeah, 2018-19. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So that's what I'm saying. And I feel like even when Neymar's obviously had his injuries, I don't see another player even in the French league. And I'm just top of my head, Jonathan Iconi, he's had a good season. Obviously, Nicolas Pepe was there last year. He's not really got competition for that award again. He's going to walk it. But the interesting thing about Mbappe, and I think we both agree, and we've spoken about this before already, is does he have to leave France?
In my opinion, yes. But the problem is with this
Hmm.
whole, even with the COVID situation, I don't think any club can afford to get him out of PSG. PSG are going to be talking 300 million. And I don't think he's got too long left on his contract. So I think the only way he's really going to get out of there is let his contract run down and leave on a pre.
Yeah,
Uh,
I,
but
I
like
think
I said,
what I noticed as well. Go
I
on.
was just gonna, I've got some stats as well, just like you're saying. This season, 20 appearances in the league, 18 goals and 5 assists. Last season, he scored 33 goals in the league. It's 70 dribbles past players this season. He's got a 55.7% shots on target this season. Uh,
That's unbelievable.
he averages 2.91 shots on target per game, which is the highest in the league. I don't think there's, like you're saying, generational talent. I think he's the obvious standout player.
Easily, easily. I think
Growing
again
up,
on Mbappe as well. Oh, go on.
it's
Sorry. Yeah,
like saying
go.
is,
Yeah,
I don't think like he's very similar to a Thierry Henry type player.
yeah. I
Very
agree.
similar, and it's so exciting to see the way he plays.
I think Thierry Henry again. Obviously, you're an Arsenal fan, so the love for Henry is probably ridiculous. I'm gonna sit here and put my head in the, put my head out there and say I personally think Kylian Mbappe can go further, and I think he can be more. Again, I don't want to put that pressure on say the next Henry. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is he could be more successful than Thierry Henry, and be more of a all-round complete player. I guess again on Mbappe as well. He's like you said, he's won the World Cup at 21 now. He again, like you said about leaving PSG, next season he'll have 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
PSG want to sell him, then he might come down to about maybe 150 or something like that, something which is obviously less than his value. Because if he doesn't sign a new contract, PSG would end up losing him for nothing the year after. So potentially there is a window next summer where we could see Kylian Mbappe leave, because he'll have a year left on his contract. So that's something to look out for. I think Real Madrid is the obvious
but personally, I
team.
don't see how he would fit into Real Madrid. I really don't.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's fair enough. I personally see him as the long-term Karim Benzema replacement.
But I don't know because he obviously Benzema is an out and out striker.
Mm.
Mbappe can play wing striker. He's very quick.
He's
To
versatile,
me,
yeah.
I would love to see him in the Premier League. Love to see him, and I think
Yeah.
a club like Man City, I think would be the long term successor to Sergio
Yeah.
Aguero. I
Hmm.
think that's the type. With could you imagine Kevin De Bruyne playing him in?
I mean, I don't want to imagine it, if I'm honest with you as well.
Like
I don't. So no.
it's
I'm a Liverpool fan, being myself. If you telling me that, I don't know how many goals and assists between them two there would be. It's quite frightening, really. I'd like to more think of him being in our front three. I know it's less likely, but I'm trying to imagine Mane, Salah, or Firmino playing with him. That's what I'm
yeah,
trying
yeah,
to imagine right now. Yeah,
yeah.
but
No,
yeah,
it's
it would be ridiculous. I'd love to see him again. You're right. I'd love to see him in the Prem. I do. I feel like again, if you're saying he probably won't, is he the right fit for Madrid? But I think his heart almost is set on
I
Real
think
Madrid.
it is. Obviously, I
Yeah,
can't say I'd love, but I just don't see how it would work. I don't.
yeah,
I don't think he's the right fit. Obviously,
mm,
that's just my personal opinion, their side of things. So
yeah.
we can move on to the second of our
Next step.
players we've
Next
picked,
step.
which is
Yeah.
Kai Havertz from Bayer
Mm,
Leverkusen. It's an
right.
interesting
I
one.
have it.
This is the one I think is very debatable. He's not the obvious choice, but obviously he's been hyped up a lot recently since the Bundesliga come back. He's playing phenomenal recently, but he's a player that stood out for me this season alone. 25 appearances, 10 goals and 5 assists. He's got 52 drawn, sorry, and he's dribbled past 59 players. He's probably not the stand-up one, but for German generational players, he's a very interesting player. He can play that number 10 role, but he can also play up front
Mhm.
as a centre forward type role.
That's exactly what I was quite interested as well, because obviously I've been watching as well as probably you and many of our viewers as well and listeners. Sorry, is that if you've seen since the restart as well, and I'm not basing it off 2 games. I have watched Kai
No,
Havertz
no,
plenty of
yeah,
times
yeah.
before that. But since the restart, he's been the most exceptional player in the Bundesliga so far with 4 goals, 2 apiece in both the games, albeit it was a penalty in one of them. Like you said, he's got 25 goals and assists this season alone. And last year is when we started to, because what is interesting as well, we don't want to base a player and say they're generational by just one
No,
season.
no, because I'm pretty sure did he not
'Cause
get
yeah,
17 goals in a league last season?
last season he got 17 league
Yeah,
goals and
yeah,
he got 4 assists. So he got 21 goals and assists last season. So that was already a benchmark to see, okay, is this a player that can now push on? And obviously this year he has pushed on. So obviously when we picked our 3 generational talents, who we picked is Mbappe, Havertz, and then we will talk about the other player who's probably an obvious one, but we'll get onto him in a second. we've picked these players because they haven't done it in 1 year. They've done it over a second year or a third year, and we can see that progress already being made. Like Havertz, for example, like we said, 21 goals and assists last season, and already this season he's got 25, and the season's not even completed. So that's already a progress made. Mbappe, his numbers are always better as they're going up. And again with Havertz, I think it is expected for him to join Bayern Munich. I don't see. Well, I think that's where
Is there
his
strong
well a
links?
lot of
Because I know Liverpool yourself, you've been linked with him recently.
we have been linked with him. I think we've been linked with him due to obviously Jurgen Klopp being German. But again, Bayern Munich, I believe, obviously Rafa Horningsen said this as well, and also in Bild as well, the Germany, in the reports in Germany,
Yeah.
saying that his heart is set on Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich feel like they can get him, and he's going to be the long term. Well, him and potentially Leroy Sané of Manchester City are what they want to build around, if you like. So I think I'd like to see him move to a bigger club and start doing what he's doing.
Where would
I
you
love
play him
watching him play.
in the Bayern Munich
Okay,
team?
I'll be honest. Right, I would play him as the long. Well, it depends because Lewandowski is. What's Lewandowski now? 32 or 3?
Yeah, I would have said about 32. I would have said. Might be
Right.
younger
This is
than that.
how
He
I.
might be.
Okay, so let's say for argument's sake he's younger than that, and Lewandowski keeps the number 9 role.
Yeah.
I'd have, if they get Leroy Sané on the left wing, I'd have Serge Gnabry on the right wing, and I'd have Kai Havertz in the number 10.
Yeah. It's the
That's what
easiest choice. But obviously, like that by
Yeah, that's what
just saying at the moment is that Bayern Munich team already is frightening. The amount of young talent they've got coming up. I think with Kai Havertz in there as
exactly
well,
that.
there'll be a team to watch in the Champions League for the next few seasons easily.
For me, I think I don't know if I mentioned it in the previous podcast. I probably haven't. I have them for the favourites for the Champions League this season if he obviously completes. The way I watched them this season, they've been absolutely brilliant. Obviously, yesterday they beat by Borussia Dortmund 1-0. It could have been more, but then again, Dortmund had their chances as well. But Bayern look so good right now,
I think
and
that
for
was the
me,
first
they're
game,
my
like just showing that them keeping a clean sheet against Dortmund at home. I think that's 38 games Dortmund went without
yeah.
scoring a goal at home. So they've
Oh
done some.
really?
Yeah, I think it was 38 games they went. It's the
Oh
first
wow,
time.
that's an amazing. Well, there you go. That just shows Bayern Munich can defend as well. And I think they are probably my favourites. Should we move on to our third and
Yes.
last
So
generator?
our third and final was a lot of people say is the English golden boy now, Jadon
Yes,
Sancho of Borussia Dortmund. Uh,
correct.
Such an exciting player to watch, and I think he's going to become such a key player for England going forward, and hopefully, I hope can fire us to some success at last, which would be nice as an English fan to end
Yes, it will be.
this
Yeah.
long wait for a trophy. But this season, 26 appearances, 14 goals and 16 assists this season alone. He averages 0.67 goals per 90 and is averaging 0.76 assists per 90 minutes, and he's dribbled past the most players at 80 in the Bundesliga this season. He's
Wow.
I don't know, he's kicked on even this year, and I think the big thing was obviously making that massive step, leaving Man City at that age to go to Borussia Dortmund. And I think everyone knew there was going to be something special when they gave him a number 7 shirt when he first signed.
Yeah, who Borussia Dortmund gave him the number 7 shirt, you say?
Yes, they gave him the number 7 shirt when he first joined them.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a 17, 18-year-old Jadon Sancho. So obviously, Borussia Dortmund saw something straight away in him. I believe, am I right in saying they lost Ousmane Dembele and then replaced him basically
Yes,
with
because
him?
Ousmane Dembele
Yeah,
was the number 7, I believe, and they then,
yeah, and he,
as they sold him for, was it 135 million to Barcelona?
it was
Something
around there,
like that.
135,
And
140.
then obviously everyone thought, right, who are they going to replace him with? And then they went with Jadon Sancho. And at that time, I think he was quite well known within England. I won't say well known, but
He was.
people who
Yeah,
follow the football knew this kid was special and knew he
yeah,
was going to
exactly
become
that.
something good. And he obviously made that choice, which not a lot of English players do, leaving England, going to a foreign country, went to Germany, and instantly made an impact. And he's just following it up year by year. And now, obviously, this season, I think he's only second to Thomas Muller behind assists this year.
Yeah, I think, like you said earlier as well, I've got a stat, obviously, he's actually got in all competitions, he's got 37 goals and assists in 38 games in all competitions. He's got 20 assists and 17 goals. That is a phenomenal goals and assists record so far this season. You got to remember, he's only 20, and last season, he had 32 goals and
Yeah.
assists in 43 games. So the signs were already there. So this is a player that, whoa, that's incredible stats. And this year he's pushed on and he's done the same thing and become even better. like we said as well,
I think he's the
he's
top scorer for Dortmund this season.
well, he's got 17 goals. So obviously Haaland might catch up with him, and he only
Oh
joined
well,
in
yeah,
January.
obviously,
So
yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah, I think Haaland's got like 10 or 11 already. But I think you're right. He is top scorer for Borussia Dortmund this season. Sancho as well. He, like you said, at the age of 17, took the leap from Man City to Germany, come to Germany, a big decision. But what he's done is he's actually set the benchmark. We've had Nat Phillips from Liverpool go from Liverpool to Stuttgart on loan. We've had Reece Nelson, who's obviously went to Hoffenheim. Was it Hoffenheim from Arsenal
Hoffenheim,
on loan last season?
yeah, he had a
Yeah.
phenomenal season
Um,
last year.
I think Ademola Lookman went to Red Bull Leipzig. We've had almost a surge of British players that have gone to
Did you
Germany,
mention Ethan
seen.
Ampadu from Chelsea
Oh
gone to
yeah,
us?
Ethan
Yeah, he went
Ampadu
to
went
Leipzig.
to Leipzig as
Yeah,
well. So he's obviously Welsh, but obviously British again. So Jadon Sancho has set that benchmark, been successful, and it's let other youngsters like himself and other like age bracket players have gone to Germany and thought, you know what, Jadon's doing it, so why can't we do it? So for
yeah.
me, he's definitely generational, and for me, I reckon him, Mbappe, and I'm not. I mean, Kai Havertz was the one that we were just about
He's the
in our.
debatable one. I think a lot of people are very opinionated about him. Uh, but in our personal opinion, I think he has got the potential there to become something special.
I'm, I, I'm going to stick my neck out there, and I want to say Kai Havertz goes further than Jadon Sancho.
Really?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I would say that.
It's
That's my
for
opinion.
me, watching Jane Sancho the way he plays, he has no fear
No, he
at all.
doesn't.
Like
No, he doesn't. Does he?
the way some players is embarrassing.
Yeah,
Defenders like he has no fear going up to defend. Like even his England debut, which is probably nerve wracking as hell. He just walking and he was doing step overs in front of him.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong, there's
yeah,
an arrogance about him, and I think that is why to me he can push Mbappe. I think I really think he can. He's got to take that move. Obviously, the links this season with him being linked to United. I don't think that's the correct
yeah.
move going to United,
He won't.
but
He won't go to United. I don't see that happening. I don't see
that's
that
a
move
whole
happening.
massive. I know there's massive strong links happening this season. I just don't think that's the
There
right
is. Yeah.
move. As much as could he go back to City? I don't know. I don't think it was a very hated relationship with City, but could he go back there?
No, I personally see either Spain or maybe Chelsea. United again, it is a possibility because they've got the money and they can throw the money at him. And obviously, if they can tell him that they can build around him, then it's possible. It
Yeah,
will
yeah.
be interesting to see who he goes to. I don't think he'll be at Dortmund for many more years.
I think
And
one
obviously,
more
that's one
season.
to
I think.
keep out an eye on. Yeah, potentially one more season. Yeah, and then we'll just move on to is the term generational overused? This is an interesting one. I just have to touch on it just before we obviously go into it. Is that this is our opinions on? I've actually managed to pick up 3 players. My third one was a bit controversial, and we'll get to that. And I think Charles, you managed to pick up 2. Now
Yeah.
this is players that we think that the term, like they say, is generational, is overused, and these are players that are a little bit overhyped. And for me, I'm not 100% sure if they're gonna be the next like incredible thing. That's our
Hmm.
opinion, and hopefully they prove us wrong, and hopefully they do become successful. But this like Ryan, that's thus far now our opinions on what we think right now. They're a little bit overrated and probably overhyped. So Charles, do you want to start on your
Yeah, of course.
first overhyped player? You think?
Of course. Like Dill said there, obviously, this isn't slating any player. I think these
No.
players here do have potential and are very good at what they're doing. But to me, the term generational should not be thrown about for fun. It should be for players who we're seeing coming up every season pushing the performance. So my first player, a bit controversial probably, especially from the team I support, Arsenal, Matteo Guendouzi. A very interesting one. I think watching him play that first season, obviously, he was always going to be special because when we first signed him, he was meant to go straight out on loan. But he impressed that
Right.
much
Okay.
within
Yeah.
training,
Mm.
they decided not to loan him. And don't get me wrong, watching him play, he has shown a lot of promise, but at times watching him, he has still got so much to learn to be classed as a world class talent. Some games he just goes and he's so right. He's so hot headed. He literally just wants to start a fight on every single player I think I've seen him play with.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I've
Like
noticed that. Yeah.
he's got to control that emotion. He's too much like Granit Xhaka, and I think that shows it is within Granit Xhaka in the
Oh
club.
God.
He just jumps
Oh
in
God.
to every challenge, etc., and just wants to kill everyone. Not a bad thing. Good to have aggression, but he needs to hone it in. And I think I was speaking to my dad about this before. I was saying, when you watch Guendouzi play, what is he actually technically good at? he isn't the best passer of the ball. He's not the best tackler of the ball. He's not the best dribbler of the ball, and he doesn't have the best read in the game. So, what would you actually
Mm.
say he's good at?
Right. Guendouzi is a player who I actually quite like. Again, I'm probably going to agree with you and say, is he really good at one thing? Probably no. When I've watched Arsenal, and obviously you've watched them more, and obviously being an Arsenal fan, you'll know more than me. So obviously on that. But what I would say is that I like when he picks up the ball and if you see the way he glides almost a little bit, takes one or two players on, and then it's a bit like he opens himself up a bit and looks for the pass out wide. He hasn't got that glide, get the ball, take on a couple of players, and bang, 25 yards, and it's a screamer. He hasn't got that, but there's something about him. There's obviously a rawness, and obviously he's so young.
Yeah, yeah.
I do quite like him, but you're
Oh, no,
right.
no,
Your
wrong.
question is dead.
I do like him, and I think he could become a
Yeah,
very good player for us. But within the Arsenal fan base, he's hyped up to become the
mm,
next best thing. And I
yeah.
don't
Is he
think,
like generational?
yeah,
Probably not. No,
they're
I don't
literally,
think
oh
so.
my God, this. Like, we've seen this before. Like Francis Coquelin, when he come back from Charlton, everyone hyped him up to
Hmm.
become the next best thing. So
Yeah, and then I think he's not. I mean, I think he's that. Where is he now? Is he in Sevilla
I think Coquelin, I think so.
or
Yeah,
Valencia? Oh, maybe Valencia. I think it's Valencia
yes,
actually. It might
Valencia.
be, or
But
Valencia.
don't
One
get
of
me wrong. I think he has the potential, but he's just not at the moment that generational player that everyone makes
them.
him out to be. For me,
Yeah. Well, fair enough. I'll start on my first one there then. And another. Well, I think all three of mine are quite controversial, and some viewers and listeners might not like them.
yeah, yeah,
But like I said, there are opinions on us. My first one is Matthias de Ligt. Now, de Ligt is obviously is he 21 now? I think he's 21 or
yeah,
20. So still very young, and obviously he was very successful with Ajax. I think he was part of the squad that nearly took the Champions League final, wasn't he?
yeah. He was the captain of Ajax.
Yeah, there you go. So he was a captain at Ajax at such a young age. He's got leadership qualities. However, he's obviously made a massive mega move to Juventus, and he has massively struggled. If you watch, he's played enough this season, and he's been subbed off or even not started or dropped. I know he's young, and obviously Juventus is a massive club. Was that a move too soon for him? Or is he a bit overhyped? I mean, like I said, Benatia and Chiellini, obviously have played it a lot. He has, and I've seen it, he's made some really schoolboy errors, which I've not seen him make at Ajax. Obviously, in Ajax, he was the main man, he was a leader, he was a captain. And at Juventus, I mean, you've got Cristiano Ronaldo, you've got some big egos there. So hopefully, I do hope he becomes brilliant because I did quite enjoy him at Ajax. But is he generational? Which obviously last year, let's be honest, I think even myself and everyone, we were thinking this Matthias de Ligt. I think there was about 20 clubs that were desperate for him. United being one of them, who was so desperate for him, and offering 250,000 a week or something. And everyone was saying, yeah, he's something. And at Juventus now, let's be honest with you, if you said to me, give me the top five centre backs in the world, I wouldn't put him in my top five centre backs in the world. So
Uh,
for me, little bit controversial. He is young. I do hope he becomes really good. But is he generational? Is he a little bit overhyped? I would say yes.
I agree in a certain aspect. I think the problem with the move to Juventus isn't his agent Mino Raiola.
Well, if it is, that's a problem in
So
itself,
this is
isn't it?
where it is. I think this is the problem. I think his move to Juventus was down to his agent as well. It's the wrong move for
Yeah.
him. He's gone to Italy, which is renowned for defenders. The Italians are some of the best defenders in history, and I think that side I can understand the move. But you're going to a club that's already got Chiellini, like you said, Benatia. They're not short centre backs; they're big names, and I think that's the problem. He's so used to being the main man at Ajax. That's what made him. He had that confidence. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Yeah.
him going there, it's hit him. I still think he's got the
Yeah.
talent, the bag's talent. There's no
Yeah.
denying
That's,
that.
that's exactly what I'm saying. I
I
totally
think
agree.
I don't know if and personally is Maurizio Sarri is still the coach at Juventus, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Is he the right man to coach him? Yeah, I know what you're
Sarri is
saying.
known for wanting to play quick football, and obviously it
Yeah.
didn't work at Chelsea, etc. Jorginho was his man at Napoli. There's no denying the success he had at Napoli, but I don't think he's the right man to nurture a talent like De Ligt.
Mm.
I don't know if
Yeah.
going to
Interesting.
United with
I
Solskjaer
hope.
would have been
Yeah.
correct, but
No.
he should have. I think he should have made the move that Frankie De Jong did and gone to Barcelona.
Yeah. He'd have his pal Frankie there.
He would have had
He'd
his.
be
I
under the
think that's so
guidance of
key.
what
Is them two get on so well together. But also, I think
so well.
Barcelona
Yeah,
is known for nurturing talent. They produce some
they
of the
are
best footballers of all time, and I think with someone like that
correct.
under his wing, could have helped them there.
Yeah, and he's had Gerard Piqué next to him, who's obviously an exceptional defender. And I think he probably did make the wrong decision. I think Barca were heavily linked. But yeah, hopefully he proves us all wrong, and hopefully he will become special.
I
And
really think
Charles,
he
I'll let you
will.
move.
I really think he will.
I
Uh,
hope so. I hope so.
On to my second one. This is a player that
Hmm.
has won the Golden Boy Award before. Uh,
Okay.
and I think a lot of people remember him from his time at Swansea City. Renato
Right. Okay. Who's
Sanchez.
this? This is a player I touched on. But go on.
It's an interesting one. A lot of people big this boy up to become the next best thing, and I do like watching Portuguese football as well. I go on holiday a lot and I follow it, and Benfica's the sort of team I like watching. So when this kid
Hmm.
was around, he was phenomenal in the midfield, and obviously he then made that big money move to Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously Portugal went on. Was it? I think he was in the Euro squad. He won. I think the Young Player of the Year in the Euros. Won the Golden Boy Award, which is the best award you can win as a youngster. And then it all really went downhill massively quickly from there at Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
and then obviously he decided to make the move to Swansea City to try and get going again, and then passed it to the signboard when the player went past on the advertisement, thinking it was a player. Uh,
Yeah, that was absolutely terrible. I remember
that was
that.
at his lows, but now he's gone to Lille, and if you watch a bit of French football, he's looked amazing again. So I think he's a player.
That's what I was going to say.
He's
Yeah.
a player coming back, and this is why I think, in opinion, a lot of people put disrespect on his name. I still think he's got the chance to become one of them best players because you can't take away
Mm.
what he's got. You don't win the Golden Boy Award by chance.
Mm.
So I don't think he's
Yeah.
a generational
Yeah.
player yet, but he's got
Yeah.
that talent now, I think.
I think again, I'm going to agree with you. I think there was that massive hype, and he didn't quite kick off. However, it's a tough one because again, like you say, he's gone to Lille in the French division, and he's been really good. I've watched him play for Lille, and he's really performed. I've really liked him from my view. But yeah, is he generational? Is he overhyped a little bit? He probably a little bit was overhyped. Again, another player that I hope does really well. I think the look of him, the persona, the dreadlocks,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
got the look of a player that could be really good. And he just needs to that hype along with it. He just needs to now hopefully crack on at Lille, start performing and becoming maybe their main man, but then potentially becoming that player that we all thought he could be.
Yeah.
So yeah, potentially that's a half decent one. I just got a couple. I got two. So obviously there were your two. You only had two,
Yeah,
didn't
I
you,
only had
Charles?
two I could get, yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a couple more. So two more. I'll just touch on them, and obviously we'll both discuss this, and we'll wrap it up. Phil Foden. Phil Foden is my one.
That's a
He's
big one.
only. Yep. Like I said, there may be listeners out there who probably won't. In fact, my next one might get even more controversy when I say it afterwards. Yeah. So he's still only 19. But Pep has come out and said in many press conferences, "Oh, he's the best young player that I've ever coached. He's got so much talent." But then the next week they'll play our way to Bernabeu in the cup, and he won't play, or won't start him, or he'll put him on the bench. I know Man City have a team full of star-studded players: Bernardo Silva, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Leroy Sané, Raheem Sterling, Riyad Mahrez. He's got a lot of competition. But if you're that good, you should be. He should have taken it upon himself. Said to the boss, "Look, Pep, I want to go out alone. Send me out to someone like I don't know Leicester or someone in the Premier League. Let me perform there, and I'll prove to you that you need me in your 11." Or if he's that good, then at 19, I've seen many big players that can start for their teams at 19, and I think you can agree with that. He can. I watch him play. He's got raw talent. He's got technical ability, but the hype of him and the generational, like, is he generational? For me, no. And for me, he needs to get out of Man City quickly. And this is not me criticizing him, but he's only 19, like I say, and turning 22. Either leave City and get a permanent move to another club, like maybe a slightly less
He can
big
come to
side of
Arsenal
City,
if he
and
wants.
perform. You can ask him. Do you want to give him a ring and see what he's about?
Like I said there, I
But
think
yeah,
Phil Foden is a very interesting player, and I love watching him. I went to England under 21 game when I was at MK
okay.
Dons, and
All right, okay,
I
okay.
literally pinpoint and watched him for the game. And his movement, watching the way he played. This was the game with Hudson Odoi was in it as well.
All
Um,
right. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
um, and just watching them two play alone, you could see the class above them at under 21 level. But Phil Foden, when he has played for City, there's no denying how good he has been. I think he was the man of the match
Yeah.
in, was it the Carling Cup final recently? Or whatever the name, Carabao Cup it's named now.
Oh yeah, in fact, yeah, fair enough. He did play that game, and yeah,
He was
he
the
was
man of the
he was really good
match.
in that.
When he
Yeah.
does play, he's phenomenal. And I think, like Pep's come out, Pep don't just throw them terms around lightly. I
No,
think,
that's what I'm saying. He doesn't. No.
and obviously Pep's coached players like Messi and that when they were younger. So that's a big remark to come out and say he's the best young player he's ever coached. So I think for
I
me,
yeah.
watching Foden, I think he's a big name. Like you said, I do agree. He needs to get out of City. Unless they've been waiting for David Silva to leave, which is happening at the end of the season. He's now going to step up. I can understand if they've let him play understudy to Silva for so long to learn, but they've
Yeah.
got to give him that
Well, then,
push now.
if that's what they, I was gonna say, if that's the case, then when David Silva goes, then they can't go out and buy a player for 40, 50 million.
No.
They've got to give him that position. Like Pep said, promised and hyped him up. Then fair enough, give him that role next. But like I say, he's a player that I don't think is generational, and I think the hype around him is ridiculous. I hope he becomes brilliant. He's
I think the
English, I
problem
want him
is
to be
that's what I mean. He's English. That's where the hype is. Any player that's English
yeah.
and plays 5, 10 good games, then
Mm,
there is. Like one player I
that's what
did
happens. You
debate
get that.
was Sean Longstaff from Newcastle United.
Sean or Matty,
Sean
the
Longstaff.
younger one.
Yeah, no, is Matty the
Yeah.
younger one? Isn't he? Well, Sean
Matt,
Longstaff has been linked with a
yeah.
move to Man United for 50 million.
Oh, that was Matty, Charles. I think that was Matty, the
Ah,
older one.
right.
Well, he's
Well,
still only 21 though, but yeah,
yeah, but 50 million,
yeah, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
right?
Because it's English.
Yes, and that's the thing
That's
is
you premium. Yeah.
that's what my point is. Don't get me wrong, but I think Foden does have the potential. I'm putting my head out
Mm.
there. I think he could become a very key player for England in the future.
I'm gonna put my head out there and say I don't think he's gonna become that good. But that's fair enough. I mean, it's opinions. At the end of the day, we sat here. We're gonna give our opinions on it, and I just want to touch on one more player before we wrap up, and that is Gabriel Martinelli. Now, right, right. I know I kind of paused there for a minute because I was expecting a reaction. I thought, right, what's he going to say now? Right, this is now the only reason I say Martinelli. Now I sat there for 5 minutes, or maybe longer than that. I know you only came up with two, and I was going to stick with two. The only reason is Arsenal Twitter is the most prominent Twitter and most active Twitter there is out of the clubs. I'm saying, as a fan base, Arsenal Twitter, bless them,
Well,
let's be honest, they probably run
in
things.
England, yes, the German ones are
Yeah,
10 times better than ours.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, in terms of fan base on Twitter, it's you lot.
Yeah,
And what I see a lot is Martinelli versus Greenwood. Martinelli versus Greenwood. Who's better? Greenwood. And when if Greenwood plays a good game, Man United fans are straight on to Martinelli. If Martinelli plays a good game, Arsenal fans are straight on Greenwood. I think we shouldn't. They're both young. Don't let them. Have that rivalry already. Martinelli, he scored 2 goals at Anfield in the Carabao Cup, and I thought he was really good. He's got 14 goals and
didn't
assists
Klopp
in
come out and
26
say
games.
he's going to be a player of the century?
If he said that, in fact, if he said that, then I'll just be quiet now. Then I'm
I'm
not saying
pretty
anything
sure
anymore.
Jurgen Klopp come out and said he'll be player of the century.
Yeah. Well, he might have all done that, but I'll be honest with you. Obviously, he's only his first season now, and his first proper season. The way Arsenal Twitter go on about he's generational, I see a really high. He can go really far, but let's not say generational, and it's going to be incredible right now. He's only played 26 games. Yes, he's got 14 goals and assists. But right now, let the guy develop. Let him start playing regularly for Arsenal. Let Aubameyang leave Arsenal and let him come straight into your club. I mean, let him come straight into the starting 11 and start a lot of games off the left or up front. Um, and even you see a little skill or a little turn or a little flick, and Arsenal Twitter, got 50,000 retweets and likes. Saying, I'm not exaggerating. I'm sat there thinking, for God's sake, I've seen Jay Spearing do this every week. So come on, I don't want to lie. And no disrespect to Jay Spearing. I don't know if Jay Spearing will ever listen to this podcast. No disrespect at all. But let's not go ridiculous and let's not go mental yet. I hope he becomes brilliant because I like he's a Brazilian and I love Brazilian footballers. But after 26 games, let's steady ourselves and let him develop himself. Let Mason Greenwood develop himself. And I hope they both become very good. I mean, Greenwood mainly so with his English. And I'd love to see him do very well, especially for England as well. But like I said, we could probably go on and talk for another hour. And it's already been, 45 minutes now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll
like I
touch on
said, that's
Martinelli quickly for you. I'll round it up.
yeah,
Okay,
I expect you.
right. I agree
There we
in
go.
certain aspects. I do.
Okay, that's good. You agree? That's good.
Look, I love him. I think he's got so much
Mm,
talent,
mm,
like you're saying there, and
yeah.
like you say, in Arsenal Twitter, it's always. Did you not see it the other day? The funny thing was, at this time last year, you got your account was posting. I think it was the Istanbul victory. Chelsea were posting winning the Champions League. United were talking about winning, and then there's us. Well, I think it was a Xhaka boom goal. Right, that sums up. That sums our Twitter up, right?
That's your fan base. Yeah, yeah.
That sums up Twitter, right? But Martinelli, I think, has got so much potential. No denying that.
He has.
I
He has.
didn't even
No, he
expect
has.
him to come in and do what he's done this season. He was a bit of a nobody, but a lot of rumours were he was massively rated in Brazil before we made the signing for him. And I think Adu personally flew all the way out to Brazil to sit down and talk with him because he wanted him that much. So I think he's a big player for the future. And like I said, I think Klopp's raved about him. I don't know if that's because he scored 2 against you at Anfield, but
Yeah. Well, he was well. He played really well that game. To be fair.
like you said, I don't think he's a generational player yet. Let him continue
Mm,
proving. I would love to see him become a
that's it.
massive name, and we can build around him. I think we've got players for the future: Martinelli, Saka, Willock, Smith Rowe. We've got a lot of good young players coming
Yeah.
through, so I'd
Yeah.
like to build around him.
You have.
But like Adil said,
Yeah.
I think we'll wrap this one up for today because we could go on for a lot longer. But I
You
think
probably
next
do.
week's
Yeah.
episode is staying with football. We've got an idea which is
We've got
probably going to
football.
be
Okay.
failed talents as such, like we talked about Boyan. We can link this in, and it's another nice opinionated podcast, like you're saying, because I think we can debate this for
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
longer. But for today,
Yeah,
I
I
think
do expect. I do also expect. I'll just touch the last thing before we wrap up, Charles.
yeah, go
I
for
do
it.
expect a few Arsenal fans to DM me. I know we have a few Arsenal fans who listen to this, so I do expect maybe hate or something towards me. I'm ready for it. But like I say, I do hope he does become really good. So I am saying I do like him. I hope he becomes brilliant. But Charles, yeah, like we said, next week will be another football one, and I'll just let you wrap up on that then.
Of course, I think football's our very most comfortable subject. We're so opinionated and we enjoy doing them. So if you guys do enjoy us, let us know. Follow us on our socials. I've got a post on our Instagram, which is official ACSC. Facebook's the ACSC podcast. Twitter, I think, is ACSC official underscore. They're our main socials. Hit
Yeah.
us up on there. Any questions? We have a website, which is www.acscpodcast.com. That's where you can find any information about the podcasts, where to follow it on Spotify,
Hmm.
Apple
Yeah.
Podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio as well as of last night. So
Oh, okay. Okay. Brilliant.
follow us on all of them. I hope you listen. And for this week, thank you very much, guys, and see you next week.